Namaste. Welcome to another episode of The Amazing Vedas with Dr. Pariksith Singh. And we've been talking about the goddesses of the Vedas. And one of the most beautiful goddesses of the Vedas are the Ushas, is and are, because they are plural goddesses. And usually they are toggled with the goddesses of the night, Ratri. So the dawn is beautiful and sacred, golden dawn as we know it from our daily experience, but the night is also sacred, sometimes fearful or fearsome, but sacred. And notice how, as we said in our last episode, the archetypal forms reappear, like Kali, the dark one, or Uma or Gauri. Gauri means the fair one. So Ushas, the goddess of light and dawn, becomes Gauri, and not Gory, Gauri, but Gauri, the gold, the golden one. And you have
Gauri.
exactly Gauri, Gauri, and it's a very common name in India. So much so that places are named God. God, Bengal. God and Vanga and so forth. But so we are here in this podcast. We always look at words. We look at etymology. We look at sounds, and we see the persistence of these in our daily lives even today. So the goddesses of the night, they're also, of course, very fearsome, but they're also protective. And the goddesses of the dawn, which are encouraging, which are beneficent, which are inspiring, Ushas, they're all in the Vedas. So, Dr. Singh, I know that this morning you put out on X a wonderful tweet on Ushas. So please, I of course retweeted it, but may I request you to please share that with us?
Yes, I would be happy to, because Usha is one of probably my most favorite Devi of all, even though one should have no favorite, but she's so beautiful. So let me read it. Who is Usha? She is the goddess of dawn, but symbolizes something far greater in the Veda. She is the awakening of consciousness to light. This is a spiritual experience. She dispels darkness, awakens beings on a cosmic scale and on an individual level. The Veda makes some strange statements which confirm that she is an inner movement. The Veda says that the Rishi makes Usha arrive by his mantra. You would think that Usha would come on her own. No, he makes Usha come, which is a very counterintuitive statement. And the sun follows her in her journey, rather than it being the opposite. Both statements make no sense if Usha were only a physical event. Of all the celestial beings, she is the most beautiful, tender, radiant, irresistible, and sweet. She is deep, high, and wide, who turns time into a cycle. The eternal recurrence and order that is rhythm is her promise to humanity, no matter how intense the darkness of night and how long the blindness.
That's beautifully put. It's really like a modern Rick in its own right. And as you all know, Dr. Singh is also a poet of note. But it reminds me again of Sri Aurobindo. Every dawn, brings with it a new promise for humanity, And there's a wonderful book by K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar, From Dawn to Greater Dawn, That's our journey as human beings. And last time we were talking about Sita, beautiful goddess of the earth. Now we see this sun goddess who quickens, the earth, and she represents the energy of the sun. And why do we have these goddesses? Because, as you said, the sun can be too fierce. You can't look the sun in its eye because it'll burn you up. But the Ushas are these gentle rays of the morning sun, so much more tender, as you said, and kind and beneficent. And, I was just thinking about what you said about Sita for a moment. And, the place where Ram Janmabhoomi was, and then it became the Babri Masjid, and now there's a huge temple. It was also called Sita Ki Rasoi,
Is that right?
Sita's kitchen. And Ramachandra Gandhi is a great philosopher, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, the son of Devdas Gandhi. He wrote a wonderful book called Sita's Kitchen, and tried to link up the importance of Sita, the earth goddess, and how disrespecting the female child. Sometimes we have this tendency in India and China and elsewhere in the East to prefer male children to female children. So he makes earth spirituality actually about respecting, the female child who embodies, like the womb of the Mother Earth, the generative power and the capacity. Now, you've just told us about Ushas. Now, is it a single goddess or is it plural? Ushas.
So, Ushas. So Ushas again. Usha can be, because Usha keeps coming. So we see the reference to the dawns before and the dawns after. Even though she's one, she's many, because she comes back. And even though we may fail, we may need the sleep, we may need to withdraw ourselves, she comes back. She brings light back to humanity so that humanity has another chance. And the Vedas saw time not as a linear movement. Vedas saw time as a cycle, as a cyclical movement. And there, Usha is an absolute integral part of that recurrence. So that's why, as you said, she is many, though one. And typical of the Veda, many and one are kept together, often so that we keep that in perspective, that the oneness and the multiplicity are always there, complementing each other, fulfilling each other, deriving from each other, becoming each other. So
and reinforcing
right.
each other. No, I also asked about the one and many because the rays of the sun are also likened to cows, isn't it?
That's
Go.
right. That's
So
right.
there again, it's a kind of plurality there because
Yes.
the sun is one, but then the rays are many. So similarly, the divine is one, ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. But again, the manifestations and the forms are many. Now, I want to bring you back to another, like the Vedas. Always the symbolic is so important, and sometimes Jameson and Brereton don't get it. They're so literalist in their idea, and it's so disappointing when you read them. Sorry to bring that in, but it so deflates you. When you read those, very prosaic, as it were, materialist translations, they don't. It seems to me they're not open to the possibilities. Now, why am I saying this? Because in a very peculiar way, the rishi and the singer and the one who invokes the sun, or in this case, Ushas, he or she makes them appear. So, what is this relationship between us, or the seers, who are also presumably like us human, and these divinities? As you said, one is obviously a psychic connection, that these are divinities which are also within us. You spoke of the correspondence or the homology, or the idea of almost the entire universe, right, being compressed in the human body itself. But how is it that even the Gita says that we sing and we make the rains happen? How is it that we're so powerful? Ordinarily we feel so powerless. We look at the weather report and say, oh gee, it's such a hot day, or it's going to rain, I better stay at home.
um, because of what we identify with, and that's our famous Vedantic term. What you superimpose on your identity. So we think we are just this name and form. The Veda says that we are something far more. Amritasya putraha, as you said, the children of immortality. We are immortal, or we have something in us that is pure, that is divine, that can connect to the whole universe and can bring down all the forces it can bring into us or through us back to the earth and make them manifest here. In fact, there are some lines that you can make the gods, the devas, manifest in your own body, in your subtle body. You can make them manifest, and they can make you your home. So it is a very beautiful way of saying that we have an infinite capacity which we don't use. We, as we know, even someone like an Einstein, they say only used 10% of his brain. So we should be using far more. We can, and we can do much more than what we are seeing ourselves as. It's almost a self limitation, just as the truth has limited itself and has become this manifest world, as they say, a famous, Rig Vedic hymn that says, "Truth covers itself, ritain ritam apihitam dhruvam mam." So it covers itself. Same
Yeah.
way, we have also covered ourselves and we hide ourselves from ourselves. But within us is that purity, that innocence, that divinity that can harness, that can bring all the cosmic powers here, right now. That is the promise that has been given to us. That is the possibility that we all have. So, it sounds much more than our limited vision, but it would be good to get that perspective that we are really infinite potential in ourselves. Each of us have the whole universe within us, and we can manifest unknown powers, that mysterious love that upholds this universe. We can manifest, each of us, and that point that is our existence can actually become as wide as we want it to be, oceanic if needed. And that oceanic personality, that oceanic being, is what the Rig Veda constantly gently guides us towards. This is who you are actually. You are oceanic, you are infinite, instead of limiting yourself to this little person that you call yourself. So at least that's how I see it. And it continues, it continues in Vedanta, continues with our bhakti yoga, where we want to dissolve in the infinite. And it's the same seeking, like that drop wanting to dissolve in the ocean, or the river trying to merge into the ocean. It is the same instinct you will see constantly coming through, or in Vedanta, where you become non-dual. By losing your duality, you become non-dual. And so, see, really, what separates us from this universe? It is our perception of us being separate. Drop that. Drop that separation that you have imposed on yourself, and you are the universe. Or rather, there is only the universe, there is only the ocean. But if you identify yourself with one wave that is going up, going down, and it's going to disappear, going to die at the beach, well, that's your choice. But remember, realize that beneath that wave, connecting all the waves, is that ocean. That is who we are. And the Veda constantly brings us to that reminder: you are the ocean. So in that sense, I understand, I take it. And then if you go deeper, then we are not even the ocean, we are the water, which is everywhere. And so that is who we are. And that is what the Veda, right from the beginning to the end, keeps reminding us, knowing this limitation, knowing this infinite, how can we keep these together, and make them synergize, make this limitation become the infinite, and make this infinite work through the limitation. You will see this constant, even through the Gita, you will see that.
Yeah, exactly. But even from a scientific perspective, even literally speaking, we are made of stardust and
Yes,
information from
yes,
galaxies far away. The atoms, the, molecules, the particles that make up, our physical being have been all over the place, as it were. And the beautiful thing about the Vedas is that this idea of reciprocity between sort of the Pinda and the Brahmanda, between, the individual limited entity and the vast cosmic universe, cosmos. That reciprocity, that interpenetration is so important that it would seem as if the gods, first of all, they're not distant from us, they're not far away, and we don't live in a hostile or even indifferent universe, a cold, universe made up of space and time where there's no warmth, as it were. But that this energy is pulsating through and through the entire universe, which is in a way, which is a body. Just as we are a body, there is a cosmic body, and we are so interconnected, and that we are not alone, and we are not, miserable and lonely, and born in original sin, or fated, for dust thou art, and this and that, or that it's all dukkha here, but that look, everything is alive. The trees are alive, the forests are alive, the waters are alive, the air is alive, the rocks are alive, the sky is alive, the sun. And you can actually tell the sun, hello, sun, thank you for shining on me. I'm very grateful for your light. So, this notion that in fact the sun is waiting for Arghya, like in the Chhat Puja, you're supposed to, worship the sun. And even today in the morning, if you go to the Ganges, you have people offering Arghya to the sun in the mornings to worship the sun with water libations or offerings. So the idea is that even the gods are waiting for the virtuous human, which the Vedas call the Aryas, the noble ones. It's not a racial phrase at all. That was a much later distortion, as we know. But they're waiting for the virtuous, as you said, the rhythm, those who follow the rhythm, the satyam, and they're waiting for such agents, human agents, animal agents, to actually feed them with their good deeds and with their words, because we saw that the greatest goddess, Saraswati, the river, as well as the goddess Saraswati, is Paravak. She's the goddess of poetry. So the Kavi, who is actually a kind of maker, who is a creator, the seer, the poet, the gods are waiting for the seer and the poet to make offerings. And in fact, I think you said in one of our earlier podcasts that we create the gods, we birth the gods, right? So, on that wonderful note, we are going to continue a little longer with trying to get a little better acquainted with the goddesses of the Vedas. Thank you, Dr. Singh. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and check us out on X, on Twitter. And until next time, thank you and namaste.